You're ready.
Okay, we're good.
July 12th, 10 a.m. work session. Wait a minute. July 12th, 10 a.m. work session. All town council members, supervisors off. Okay. We have, first, anybody here on the board have anything? David came regarding some complaints regarding some vape shops and massage parlors and stuff, so he's going to address that. I know
Good.
Lisa had some questions on that too.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's
A
noisy.
little loud. Move that back.
Thank you for letting me talk. We, the town board, has shared with me some emails that the board has gotten on some kinds of zoning matters, some land uses that are causing some consternation with residents. They include things like vape shops, massage parlors, pawn shops, pawn, not porn. Convenience stores that sell liquor, just different kinds of things that some people think are the wrong kinds of businesses for the town. Councilman McCarthy and Supervisor Vecchio asked me to look into a couple of them. The supervisor asked me to look into massage parlors, and Tom asked me to look into the vape shops. I've done a fair amount of research with the American Planning Association, and we also looked at all of the other towns in Suffolk County except for like Shelter Island and the Hamptons, because they tend not to have the same kinds of problems that we have. Just to see how they handle at least the massage parlors. We didn't get done with the vape shops yet. However, at this point, I think it's safe to say that the issue is a little more complicated than it seems at the surface. At the surface, one might say, gee, they're terrible, let's ban them. However, I don't like to make things more complicated than they should be, but it is a little more complicated. There are different dimensions to these things. If you take the approach that like you want to ban something because it seems bad, but you don't have any studies, as soon as, I think the town attorney would be better equipped to answer this, but I think as soon as the board gets sued, it's very difficult to win. So I think it needs to be studied a little bit more thoroughly. I do think that there are basically 4 levels of regulation that you would look at for these uses, and each one's a little bit different. But the strictest is to prohibit something. And the repercussions of prohibiting something are bigger than regulating or restricting it. So there's prohibit, like banning it, and then there's restricting it. If you restrict it, there are 2 approaches that I know of. One is to make it a special exception use, and then the other one is to require a license. And then the last level of restriction is to permit it the use in certain zoning districts and not permit it in other zoning districts. When we looked up massage parlors, the one that seemed to make the most sense to us at this point was the town of Babylon. They permit them in certain zones, just like they permit retail stores and restaurants, but they require them to be licensed. And the requirements for licensing is that not too many restrictions. There's some hours of operation, like the massage parlor can't be open. I don't remember the exact numbers, but like between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. or something like that. Requires that the operator and the people that work there, that the operator have an education in massage therapy, and that the people who work there have certificates or experience or something. Basically it's like a registration. So the person gets the license with the clerk, and it's renewed every year, and there's certification that it's a legitimate massage place.
And that's Babylon?
That's the town of Babylon.
And we don't require licensing at this point?
Not that I know of.
Well, David, any chance that the Department of Health requires anybody giving a massage to have a license?
Is there a chance?
I-
I would
I-
imagine there's a chance. I'll find out.
I would think that that's a Department of Health, maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
Because when you call it a massage
For
parlor,
massage parlors. We're
Which-
speaking only about massage
Yeah.
parlors right now? or-
Yeah.
Okay.
which gives us a bad connotation, because
Right.
Babylon actually has the best massage. I don't call it a massage parlor because it gives you the idea of maybe it's something. They have a beautiful
Mhm.
massage therapy place there.
Yeah.
It's immaculate, and I know on the wall they have signs.
Right.
I'm wondering if the Department of Health can't help us
Mhm.
institute what we think is
Sure.
the right thing.
Well,
And I
I'll-
might be wrong, but it sounds like if there's, somebody is working on you, that they should have some
Well,
type of a,
Apparently, it's a very legitimate profession.
It
And
is.
it's tarnished, I guess, because some of them are fronts for prostitution.
Yes.
From what I understand.
but
Uh,
isn't that where the DA should be getting involved?
I would think so. We started to inventory the ones in Smithtown, and I mean, there's one on Landing Avenue opposite Redwood. I mean, it doesn't seem to be a problem.
There's one in St. James.
There's one on
it's
Church Street in
beautiful.
Kings Park opposite the library. That doesn't seem to be a problem. There's one, I believe it's in Mayfair Shopping Center. So I'm not so sure that this is a problem land use, but what we need to do is study it and get back to you.
Okay.
Thinking it's less land use and more Department of Health.
Okay.
Department of Health perception of what it really is.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some places that are, you probably know too, some places that are a little more questionable,
Mhm.
but you can tell right away when you walk into a good place.
Yeah.
Well, a long time ago, in the 1970s, I guess, when adult uses started to become a bigger problem in the United States, they were protected to at least some degree by the Constitution as a freedom of expression. However, some cities found that there are these things called indirect effects or secondary effects, where the government has little right to regulate expression, but it can regulate things that create crime or low property values. And I believe Boston or Detroit was the first place that did a study that said, and they did it apparently pretty thoroughly, and it was pretty expensive. And they said, here we have whatever, let's just make a number up, 20 adult uses in the city, and this is where they're located, and the property values around them are lower than the property values generally. So therefore, we need to regulate the use. We're not going to stop people from observing or participating in the use, but we are going to regulate the time, manner, and place. And that started a trend in the United States in the 80s and 90s on how to regulate adult uses. I don't know if vape shops are what people are people opposed to vape shops
I don't know.
because
I think it's another
I
perception thing.
think they don't know what
Yeah,
they
okay.
are.
Because it lowers the property value nearby.
That's what I,
Then
one of
maybe
the
site plan
persons
review or architectural review or something can make the building look much more presentable.
said. Do you think
Well-
that the vape shop problem is because people think that they're selling paraphernalia there and they don't know what? I mean, I'm not crazy about a vape. There is nicotine in there. That's neither
Right.
here nor there. But I wonder if people think that something's being sold in there that's not more like paraphernalia for drugs. Maybe that's the connotation.
Not so. People are concerned of a different crowd coming in.
Yeah.
There's been issues with drugs coming in and being used with the, I don't even know what they call, hookahs or whatever
That's
they
it.
call.
What do they call it?
Hookah lounge. How do they get around those?
So it's what's
Smoking
coming in, not what the owner is really doing.
The,
It's really
that-
what's coming in.
The hookah lounges, the building department with the planning department's input came to the conclusion, I believe, about 5 or 6 years ago, that that's retail not otherwise classified.
I thought those were outlawed in Suffolk County.
No, we have it right down by the
Yeah, there's
corner.
one by the bull
But my
and,
point is, if you
Yeah.
can't go in a restaurant and smoke,
right,
how do they allow inside that building for the public to go in there, even though you're willingly going in there? How do they get around that
I don't know.
regulations.
Is that the
no?
same as a cigar
There has
lounge?
to-
It's
has to be a
primary that
definition
use?
to the word
Yeah.
tobacco.
I think that's how you get it.
probably.
It's primary that use.
Probably in
Cigar
the law,
lounges.
there's a definition.
It's specifically allowed under the law.
Is it?
under the county law.
Yeah. It's
Specific.
not a restaurant.
Right.
So the town has classified hookah lounges as retail, not otherwise classified, and that's why they're permitted in neighborhood business
Oh,
and central
boy, can you
business.
imagine if they put that in the...
And what's the
regulation?
vape shop? Same thing, is that retail, it's considered retail?
Right now, yes.
Yeah, right.
So we couldn't go after a change of use, business to
Correct.
business?
Well, if it's, if someone had retail business, and let's just say they were selling bicycles, and now they were going to sell electronic cigarettes or e-cigs.
So it's retail, so that's why we don't.
It's not a
ask.
change of use.
I got it.
That was changed in Islip and Brookhaven, and right now in Hempstead, they're trying to change it.
What happened? What do they do?
So they're trying to put those, change the, whatever, the zoning, so it would be more in the industrial part of those towns,
Mhm.
and not on a main street. Well, they successfully did it for Islip and Brookhaven.
Okay. Well, we had just started work, first on the massage therapy places about a week or two ago. And we were not only like looking on Long Island, we were looking around the country. And just this week, just yesterday, we started with the vape shops. We haven't gotten
I know, there's,
to interview the adjacent towns yet.
yeah, and there's a lot of studies, so.
They
it's,
have them in the center of the mall, too, right?
I don't know.
What do they call those?
Alright.
Kiosks.
Okay. So my suggestion,
Continue the study.
yeah, I would say that
See
give
you
us
in
about,
30 days.
I was going to say, give us about a month or
Yeah.
at least to get back to you.
I think you gotta be careful with those massage parlors. I think there's gotta be, as a town attorney, I mean, the definition has to be very precise. Massage parlor, I mean, if they're doing anything illegal, our job is not to stop the business of giving
Yeah.
massages, because that's a wonderful thing. But if they're doing anything illegal,
Well, that's already in the,
It's gotta be the
that's
DA's
already in the
gotta
codes,
be-
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't,
Well,
are we having problems with, because I could be naive about this, I think we're having problems with illegal,
I don't know. To me, planning doesn't do enforcement. Town attorney's office, public safety, and the building department do enforcement. If there's a legal use and somebody's doing something illegal in there, that,
that's not,
it's illegal to begin with.
that's
So-
right.
So,
If it's a legal
if
use,
someone is selling
you know,
drugs at a gas
right.
station,
If
should gas
7-Eleven
stations
is
should be
selling
banned?
liquor to underage,
yeah,
then they're doing something illegal. If a massage therapy place is doing something they're not supposed to be doing, that's a criminal.
Well, we've already had, I think it was either 2 or
Yeah.
3.
We've had a couple.
Yeah,
We've
the
had-
DA's office was
There's been a
public
couple in
safety.
Smithtown over the years where
Yeah.
Suffolk County PD went and made arrests and they closed
Yeah,
them.
and that's the end of it.
Yeah, that's
You
the end
know,
of it.
yeah.
I guess sometimes you have to be careful about overreaction. I haven't
Okay.
heard too much about problems. And what do you do with a vape shop that, and again, I mean, I don't even think those things are good, but what do you do with one that's already, there's a lease and somebody's in there? What do you do?
I don't know, the
How do you
e-cig
change?
industry, or the vape shop industry has a website to fight laws that try to close down vape shops. And they say that they're doing a public service by reducing cancer in the world, since e-cigs apparently cause less cancer than tobacco or regular cigarettes. So apparently there'll be pushback from the industry.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
All right, well, you got a mission.
I do.
All right, thanks,
I'll do it.
David.
Thank you.
It's a hard,
Right.
it's a really hard decision. I'd go to the state or the county and say, make the decisions, do it across the board.
Yeah, anything else?
No, that's
Lisa?
it.
We're good?
No.
Fine.
No, but
Just executive
we're going to
session.
go into executive.
All right, move to go into executive session
Second.
for personnel matters. All in favor?
Aye.
I wouldn't go that far.
Melody's ready.
All right.
All right.
He loves you, though.
Move to
He
close the
does.
executive
He
He
session.
loves you.
Second.
I gotta
Move to
get
close
back on
the-
the record, I won't say what I had to say.
Aye.
The meeting? Second?
Second.
Okay.
You're